Daddy held me to the ceiling and I still recall the feeling of holding on to.
Hello everyone, we are about to start.
Hello everyone. Let's wait for about five more minutes so people could join.
Look, fuck rap, I'm a street legend. Block love me with a deep reverence. I was birthed in a C-section. Helicopters and police presence. We got ops, so we keep weapons. We on y'all block while y'all eat breakfast. A lot of shots, we broke street records. Watch how you talk, I got reflexes. Watching your cheap necklace. Then we slide at the east exit. But every time we get the fucking niggas up, TMZ catch it. Y'all still learning street lessons. From the mastermind, first you master grind and your team catch it. This time it's for the money, I don't need credit. But I'm the don cause the street said it. Look. Fuck rap, I'm a street legend. And I'm the don cause the street said it. Block love me with a deep reverence. And I'm the don cause the street said it.
And I got pressure on me. 7 days a week is game 7 on me. Life will test you out, you live through that, that's testimony. Giving them hell, but how in the hell I got all these blessings on me? Most of the girls I know addicted to social media. All the time they put in, they could've wrote encyclopedias. Mama said it only takes one time to fuck up your whole Wikipedia. And as your son, I can see the type of life that you see me in. After what happened in Nipsey, I reached out to Kendrick. It wasn't even no real issues there to begin with. Lack of communication and wrong information from people fueled by the ego. It's like mixing flames with diesel. Energy crazy, I realize that it's a two-way street. What's coming is going, if it don't give you more, it drains you. Should be a billionaire based on the time off I'm not taking. Probably why this shit with me get crazy and we lost a baby. And everybody around me think I'm the one, but we all just one-on-ones. And I'm walking out the crib, they ask me where I'm going. I told them I'm going on another 10-year run. Niggas is banging over blocks that they don't own, thinking that's home. Boy, you think that's where you from? You don't really know where you from. You don't know how deep your roots is and what your ancestors had done. So God bless all of the sons and daughters who knew their history, so they knew where to take it farther. And all the ones that stuck with me like good barbers. Looking at my life story, God's a good author. Never was a lot of us in a room, we move like ninjas. And if it costs you peace of mind, it might be too expensive. So I can give you everything that you want from me for free though. Get you one shot in life, you might not be able to reload. So advanced, I need all my advances. Bro hit me up for cash like we didn't have the same chances. My dad hit me up like, why I don't live in a mansion? I'm trying to focus, but baby girl keep holding my mind for ransom. And that ain't how it's supposed to be. This man home got to a beat, and his name Shine too. I almost felt like it was me. Damn, I realized all my setbacks were inside of me. In high school, I learned chemistry, biology, but not how to cope with anxiety. Or how I could feel like I'm by myself on an island with depression on all sides of me. With a Glock 17 right on the side of me. Look, I ain't think I had the thought of suicide in me until life showed me all these different sides of me. Too many times I thought the Reaper was outside for me. And how the fuck is people that never met me that hate me? I wonder if they understand that I meditate daily and feel like my life purpose is to give inspiration. Despite the hit songs that there's just no escaping, that I take care of my family and beat the odds that were deadly. You hate that, that just reflects your lack of succession. Bless them. If it ain't Nipsey Blue, it's Detroit Blue. This that Detroit too. I'm bringing it back to my hood like D-Boys do. Gone.
So the collaboration though, the Nipsey and who?
Oh man, I'll probably say Payroll or T Grizzly. Me and Big Sean talked about doing something recently too. So, you know, all of them. I'm gonna tap in with all of Detroit. Fuck rap, I'm a street legend. Block love me with a deep reverence.
Start?
Sure.
So should I introduce myself on my own? Hello, everyone. Hi. So, hello, everyone. Can I? Okay. So, welcome to the Tedx event. My name is Ayajan, and I'm a leader of TED Club of our university. We are very happy that you were able to join us today, and we hope that you will get unforgettable memories and experience. So without further ado, let's get started with introductions of our lovely members.
Hello to everyone. My name is Altar Bakhtiar, and I'm the member of the Tedx club. So nice to meet you all.
Yes, that's useful.
Yes. Let's go. Now you can speak.
So hello to everyone. My name is Altar Bakhtiar, and I am the member of the
Tedx event.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this event. Thank you for coming. And I know this is very special, and especially for you. And I hope you so too. I am here for engineering. If you have any technical issue, please let me know. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Ahmad Young. I'm here and we are so excited to have you here in our TEDx event at Busan National University. So let's start with our honorable speaker, with Professor Hennessy, and let's start with Professor Hennessy.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us online today for this first TEDx event organized by students from our department. I'm Professor Hennessy. I know a lot of you already know me. I recognize a lot of names. Those of you who don't know me, probably you'll end up taking a class with me soon. So nice to meet everybody. So when I was asked to speak at this event, I was thinking about China at the time and how its giant economy gives it power in the world, not just in the obvious ways, but also sometimes in kind of unexpected ways. And more specifically, I was thinking about how some companies are willing to modify their behaviors and to modify it in ways that I would consider somewhat unethical, in order to enter the Chinese market and to profit from the booming economy there. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. You might think this doesn't really concern you. I mean, you don't live in China, but as you'll see, the companies that I'm going to mention, there are companies that you know with products and services that you use. Personally, I try to be, what's called an ethical consumer. I try to think about the products that I buy, about how and where they were produced, about what harm their production may have caused. Of course, I don't always make the right decisions, but I think it's something that it's important for all of us to think about. If you live in a democracy, you make your voice heard through your votes, by voting in the political system. But wherever in the world you live, you can also make your voice heard with how you spend your money, right? You can make statements about your preferences through how you spend your money. So what I want to talk about today is the ways in which China has a negative influence on ethical consumption or ethical behaviors by companies, specifically on issues regarding animal rights and free speech. So first, in terms of animal rights, you might have noticed that around the world, there's a growing trend for people to be increasingly concerned about animal welfare. And this is a trend that's been slowed down or sometimes impeded by China. You can see, this growing trend in the world. The number of vegetarians and vegans in Germany has doubled in the last 4 years, for example. There's almost 4 million people who are vegan in Germany right now. There's lots of companies who make it very clear in their advertisements or on their packaging that they don't do animal testing, right, out of concern for animal rights. And it's specifically on the topic of animal rights that China becomes problematic. In China, the law still requires that most cosmetic products be tested on animals before they can be sold on the domestic Chinese market. So, of course, this causes a big dilemma for these cosmetic companies, right? The main purpose of a company is probably to make a profit, right? For its owners, for its shareholders. And of course, today, China is one of the biggest markets in the world, and it's also a very fast-growing market. So a lot of the cosmetic companies, they feel like they have to enter the Chinese market, right? This means that there's large international companies like Dior and Givenchy and Clinique, right? These very famous cosmetic companies who, in order to enter the Chinese market, accept that their products will be tested on animals, right? Whereas if China didn't have that requirement, it's pretty likely that they would not test on animals anymore because of the way things are changing. Actually, in most European countries, it's illegal to do animal testing. And then in countries like New Zealand, Taiwan, South Korea, laws have been passed to restrict what kind of animal testing can be done. So you can clearly see a trend there. There are some companies that are refusing to enter the Chinese market because of these issues. Some of the big famous ones that you might know include The Body Shop or Lush. So some companies are standing up, but many others are following the wishes of the Chinese government. So for these companies, the dilemma is clear. Either they make money by entering the Chinese market and giving up on their ethical values, or they stand up for animal rights and they lose the potential profits from the Chinese market. So China has been slowly changing its laws, but it's not been quite fast enough for a lot of activists who care about these issues. So personally, I try to choose companies that don't test on animals and who don't succumb to pressure from the Chinese government. On the second issue, the issue of free speech, China here also influences corporations in different ways. You've all heard the sentence, Google it, right? If you ask somebody a question, they'll just answer you with, hey, Google it, right? It's become a replacement in the English language for do your research and find the correct answer, right? This is a sentence that didn't exist when I was a student. So we often think of the internet as an area for free speech and for information exchange and a place where we can find information and find the correct answers to the questions we have. You can see it these days. We get a lot of posts coming from Myanmar and Gaza and other zones of conflicts where maybe regular journalists don't have the same access, but individual people are posting and promoting free speech on the internet. Now, the problem with China here is with Google specifically, when they entered the Chinese market in the early 2000s, the Chinese government forced them to self-censor their search results. Specifically, if you Google democracy or Tiananmen Square incident or other topics like that on Google in China, you're not going to get any answers, right? Because Google accepted to censor its result in order to enter the Chinese market. This was especially the case about like 20 years ago until about 10 years ago. But China's been increasingly dissatisfied with Google, so now actually Google is a tiny market share. But initially, they accepted the government restrictions. It's not just Google. There have been incidents where Apple has removed apps from the App Store because the Chinese government asked them to. There have been LinkedIn posts that were political in nature that were not visible in China to Chinese users. You might have heard recently in the esports industry, Blizzard punished some gamers because they spoke up against, they spoke up in favor of the Hong Kong protests. Also about those protests, the Chinese state media criticized Cathay Pacific very heavily because some of their employees had joined the protests or were speaking up in favor of those protests. In Hollywood, you have movies like Marvel's Doctor Strange, where they had to change one of the characters because otherwise the Chinese government might not have allowed that movie to be shown in China. So you can see, just like in the case of cosmetic companies, here we have tech companies or media companies or transport companies that have to modify the way they engage with free speech in order to enter the Chinese markets, to get the profits from there. And personally, as a supporter of democracy and a supporter of free speech, I worry when companies start to change the way they act, when they forego their ideals and they submit to the wishes of an illiberal government that doesn't respect free speech and doesn't respect democracy. And they do all this, of course, for profit. So it's something that bothers me. So as you can see, the Chinese government wields strong influence in diverse sectors of the global economy, not always in just the basic ways you think, like supply chains, but in a way that sometimes undermines corporations that would like to behave in an ethical manner, but are prevented from being ethical, from supporting animal rights, from supporting free speech, because of the wishes of the Chinese government and the corporation's desire to enter the market and profit there. It's not the only two areas that we could have discussed, but in the interest of time, I just chose those two. Other things that come to mind, recently there's been a lot in the news about the cotton from China used to make clothing, and how the Chinese government is treating the Uyghur minority that does a lot of the cotton farming in Xinjiang province, and the boycotts of companies like H&M and Nike and things like that that have happened as a result of companies speaking up against it. So basically, I just want to encourage you to think about what you buy, and if you get a chance to, then support companies that take an ethical stance, support companies that have the same values that you do, and basically just vote with your wallet, right? Show the world what it is you stand for. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for a great speech. Indeed, China has a great influence throughout the world. And 2 days ago, actually, like if you have seen in the media, the world was buying cryptocurrencies and it was becoming very popular. And 2 days ago, China announced that they are banning any transactions in cryptocurrency, and the cryptocurrency world crashed. And that's the influence of the great China. Yes. So our next member.
Yes. Our next speaker is Jolene. Jolene, could you be here?
Hi. Okay, should I start?
Yes, you may start.
All right, I'm going to share my screen, set everything up. Okay, hello everyone. I want to start this talk off with telling you guys about something that really annoys me, which is people saying love yourself on social media. I mean, if you're anything like me and spend a lot of time on social media to avoid your responsibilities, you will sooner or later come across a celebrity or just a regular person saying, love yourself. And I really hate that. And the reason why I hate those posts so much is that most of the time they will just say, love yourself, and then never tell you how to do it. Like, how am I just supposed to love myself? Has anyone in the history of the internet ever seen a post like that and decided, oh yeah, wow, you're telling me I can ignore all of the societal standards that have been drilled into me from a young age and just love myself? I never thought of that before. And no, that is not what happens, which is why I decided that my talk is going to be on actual tips on how to be okay with yourself, which is because I think that loving yourself is a good goal to have, but it's not easy to reach. So the goal you should have isn't to look at yourself in the mirror and think like, oh my God, I'm the prettiest or most handsome person on the planet. No, I think the goal should be to just stop putting yourself down. The goal should be to have a ceasefire with yourself. And I know that there are a few people listening to this who are thinking like, me being nice to myself, like, how is that supposed to work? And if you're one of those people, this talk is for you. And the first tip I want to share with you is to remind yourself that you're going to die. And I know this sounds really bad, but I think it's important to remind yourself why you should strive to be a little bit nicer to yourself. Because if you look back at your life and realize that you spend so much time and energy just beating yourself up to fit into society's expectations of what you should be like, then you're going to be disappointed that you wasted so much time and energy on hating yourself. And it's even worse if you spend a lot of time agonizing about things that are impossible to change, like your bone structure, which brings me to a thinking I want to share with you, which is the concept of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance means looking at situations and trying to accept them completely as they are. It's the attitude of, well, it is what it is. And it's a good way of looking at yourself too. That's it. That's the way I look. I have little control on whether people find me attractive or interesting or not. So I would like to encourage you, as a first step in loving yourself, to sit in front of a mirror and just try to radically accept that this is what you look like. Again, it's not about loving yourself. It's about achieving a feeling of neutrality about yourself. And this, of course, doesn't happen overnight. You should keep practicing looking at yourself in the mirror with neutrality over a longer amount of time. So every time you see your reflection, try not to pick it apart, but be like, yeah, that's me existing, living. This is how I look. I'm alive. And a thing to keep in mind is that your mind's self-image is, why should I be different? When you look at your friends or acquaintances, what do you think about their appearance? Do you constantly pay attention to how their clothes are sitting or how many pimples they have? Whether they have gained 10 kilos or whether their hair looks strange? Probably not. Even if you notice a change in how they look, you hopefully don't spend the entire conversation thinking about how they look. And why should it be different for you? When you get to know someone, is their weight incredibly important to you? Do you think about it all the time? Probably not. Why should your friends or acquaintances feel different about you? I really hope that you like your friends regardless of their weight or appearance. And I hear so many people online saying it's not bad to gain weight or beauty comes in all sizes. And in the back of their head, they will think like, except for me. People don't even notice when you gain 3 kilos, except when I gain 3 kilos. Again, think of yourself in a more fair way. And this brings me to an insight that I had some time ago, which is, who do you find more attractive? The supermodel who always seems dissatisfied, doesn't have anything interesting to say, and keeps nagging at themselves? Or do you find the person who's in a good mood and just seems relaxed and confident more attractive? I would argue it's the latter. Having a good personality is sexy, or at least it's 100 times sexier than self-hatred, which is why you should, after having tried to radically accept yourself, you should work on how you carry yourself instead of working on your body. And that leads me to the second exercise I want to share with you today, which is about defining yourself by the values you have instead of by your appearance. If you have an interesting personality, people tend to focus less on your looks and more on the things you have to say. You know, people sometimes say that you can only love yourself if you know who you are. And I think the problem with that is that society often dictates who you should be through marketing and other tactics. So when I myself thought about who I am, for example, I fell into a crisis because someone once asked me, if you stopped doing everything you thought other people wanted you to do, what would you do? And what are some things you like doing for yourself? And the only thing I could think of was lying in my bed while watching YouTube videos. And that's not really something you can base your personality off of. Or so I thought, because I want you to take a moment to think about the questions, what do I actually like to do? Because I want to do it and not because I feel like I should want to do it, like working out, for example. And even if the answer to that question sounds small and silly, I want you to own it, because these answers are what makes you you. And if someone asks you what you like to do, I want you to not belittle your interests and confidently say, you know, I really like lying in my bed and watching YouTube videos, because that's what makes you you. Value the things you do only for yourself, even if they seem silly to others. I also think that in order to get to know yourself better, you should determine your own values at least once. I have a list of values here that I hope will also be posted in the chat. And I would like you to go through the list by yourself and highlight the values that seem important to you. And think carefully before you do this. Is this important to me and why? And if your answer is not, this is important for me and me alone, then don't highlight it. Because you can lie to yourself and say, for example, oh, I really care about cleanliness. But if you were the last person on earth, would you still care about cleanliness? And if the answer is yes, then great, highlight it. And I think you can really build your self-worth by centering your self-worth around your values and interests, because you are not your looks, you are your interests and your values. And it's easier to not be liked or to make unpopular decisions when you have a strong sense of identity. This is me. Those are my values. That's how I want to be and live. And I think your values are important because it is your life. And ideally, you shouldn't compromise on that. Because again, as a reminder, you're going to die. Imagine looking back on your life, being on your deathbed. Which is better, a life lived according to your values or a life lived according to the values of others, where you miss out on yourself? So to recap, life is too short to hate yourself. People care less about your looks than you think. You should try to achieve a neutral view of yourself by radically accepting the way you look. Try to determine your values and interests and define yourself by those instead of your looks. And listen, I know this stuff isn't very revolutionary, and I won't be able to completely change your life with this talk, but if you took more out of this talk than an Instagram post saying love yourself, then I consider it a success. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your speech. That was amazing.
So
I also posted it as a Google Docs link.
So it was really exciting, and so actually it is really hard to love yourself, and I really want to add to that. For me, it is really hard to love myself in such cases, and sometimes we cannot understand how to love yourself. And your speech is really understandable and exciting, I would say. Okay. So, can you hear me? Okay. So I want you guys to play the game. Just so this is mostly not a speaking game. It's like gesture mostly. So for example, at first you need to touch your right hand, your nose, and the left hand, with the left hand you need to touch your right ear. So try to do that. And then you need to clap. And then you need to change. Yeah, then faster. But I'm not professional. Just look at that. I am not pretty sure. I'm not good at it either. But we can try. Okay, let's start. This one. This one. And then you have to change. Oh, that's again. Like that. So here, look at here. So, and then you need to change. Yeah, so like that. So, do you understand? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Now, so
Just practice makes perfect.
yes. So let's do it faster. Like that. And then, oh my gosh, sorry. So, Ayajan, can you show this? Oh, okay. So first, okay, let's start together. Let's start slowly. Firstly, okay, slowly. One, change. Slowly, change. Faster. Let's do faster. We can do it faster. Yeah. So I'm really good at this, actually. Everyone, but not me. Okay, let's continue. So our next speaker is Asin. So please start your speech. Thank you.
So hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So I'm loading my presentation. I guess it will take like maybe 30 seconds. So yeah, just wait. Thank you.
Is everything going?
Oh, she's.
We can hear you. What should?
Asir, are you talking or are you saying something?
All right, so hello everyone, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, so once again, hello everyone. My name is Isiel. I just like you study at Busan National University. So today in this Tedx, I want to talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency. I guess most of you have heard about blockchain industry and also maybe have invested in some blockchain stocks or maybe cryptocurrency. So I think that it's very interesting topic, especially about distributed ledger technology. And many there are lots of works right now in this area. So probably you've heard about it. So well, honestly speaking, about 99% of people in the world don't really know about blockchain, although they have heard about this concept. So yeah, today I want to talk about it. Why I decided to talk on this topic is that I actually work in this area right now. So I work in Monex company in Singapore and also in JC Finance Center in Kazakhstan. So I have like a huge exposure in blockchain and cryptocurrency. And I want to share with you what is it and how it works, because this is very interesting and it's going to disrupt most of the existing, existing systems like finance, or existing areas like finance or maybe insurance or medicine, because this is going to be very, very useful. So let's get started. So today I will introduce you the basics of blockchain technology. So we'll get to know what is it and how does it work. And next I will introduce the concept of cryptocurrency, for which the blockchain technology is a basis. So this is very important because this is how actually blockchain become very popular. And we'll also get to know about the smart contracts, which is very important derivative concept from blockchain, and then proceed to the brief history. And next, after understanding what characteristics of the blockchain technology make it widely used, we'll see like few uses of applications. And I'm also going to share you some maybe internship opportunities that you can get in the blockchain industry, because right now my company is recruiting members. So I guess it's a great chance for you to also to get a place and work in this newly created industry. Okay, so what is exactly blockchain? Oh, why it's not working? Okay, so what is exactly blockchain? So blockchain is basically a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. Basically, it's a decentralized system. There is no authority there, and all the information that is transferred is going to be set, and it's going to be like really hard or almost impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. And that's why blockchain, compared to other systems or compared to other existing technologies, are much more efficient in the finance or any other different areas. So a blockchain is basically a digital ledger of transactions. So if you know accounting, or at least the basics of accounting, the ledger is basically all the information stored, whether it's structured or unstructured, is basically a system of all the information. So basically, blockchain is just a distributed ledger. So distributed means there is no central authority, and all the information is distributed between the participants, or the entire network of computer systems on the blockchain. So blockchain is basically consists of like two words, like block and chain. So each block in the chain contains a number of transactions, and these blocks are linked to each other as each of them takes reference from the previous one. So any information created on this ledger, which is basically a database, cannot be changed. And the decentralized database managed by multiple participants is known as decentralized ledger technologies. So DLT is the same as blockchain, okay? So sometimes people use distributed ledger technology as a blockchain. So there is no difference. So basically, how does it work? So when a user requests for a transaction, a block representing the transaction is created. Then the block is broadcasted to all the nodes of the network to all the users. So remember, all the users in the network has a duplicated ledger or duplicated database. Only after all the nodes validate the block and the transaction, the block is added to the chain. And once this block is added, it will be impossible to hack, and it will just stay like that. The most important thing is that blockchain can be described like as a collection of records linked to each other, strongly resistant to alteration. So the append only log means that the data will only be added and remain forever, no changing or deleting. All these blocks become databases, and the auditable database is secured by cryptography. So, which is basically the technology to encrypt and decrypt the information. What is encrypt and decrypt? Decrypt, so basically encrypt is, we have a plain text, right? So encrypt makes it a computer code, and decrypt makes it like this, transfers this computer code into plain text. So another thing is that, hash functions in the blockchain are for like tamper resistance and integrity, digital signatures for consent, and consensus for agreement. So I believe that it's very, very interesting. That's actually what makes it different from other technologies, and why it's so effective, and why like all companies and all investment banks, including like Citibank, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, and many other like companies, like in the past, for example, the Tesla, transferred to blockchain, or decided to to accept Bitcoin as a form of currency. So this is basically what I have explained it. Okay, so cryptography basically we have like different keys, like cryptography keys, a peer-to-peer network means of computing. So the first thing is called cryptography keys. The cryptography keys consists of like two keys, which is a private key and public key. And these keys help in performing successful transactions between two parties. So each individual has these two keys, which they use to produce a secure digital identity reference. And this secured identity is the most important aspect of blockchain technology. So in the world of cryptocurrency, this identity is referred to as digital signature, and is used for authorizing and controlling transactions. So the digital signature is merged with a peer-to-peer network. So a large number of individuals who act as authorities use a digital signature in order to reach a consensus or to have an agreement with another party. So to sum it up, blockchain users employ cryptography keys to perform different types of digital interactions of the peer-to-peer network. Yeah, so next is about like the cryptocurrency. So what is exactly cryptocurrency? It's a digital currencies that can be used to buy goods and services, but uses an online ledger with strong cryptography to secure online transactions. So it's very easy. It's very strong. No one can hack it. No one can, cause a malfunction, which is most of the times intentional. And right. So we have like different types of cryptocurrency. We have like thousands, millions of types of cryptocurrencies, and this. So most of the popular one can be a Bitcoin. And because of the activities of Elon Musk, we have now Dogecoin, which is very popular. We have an Ethereum, and an example can be used in also like in Litecoin. This is price based on May 21st. So if there are people who are investing in cryptocurrency, they know that actually this price has dropped a lot. It actually reached like a lot, like more like $60,000 in the past. So just like John explained, because of China's activities, the price of those cryptocurrencies drops a lot. All right. So smart contracts. So yeah, we can talk about like smart contract now. So a smart contract is basically an agreement between two people in the form of computer code. So they run on the blockchain, so they're like stored in a public database. It cannot be changed at all. And the transactions that happen in a smart contract are processed like by the blockchain, which means they can be automatically without like third party. So we don't have an authority here. It can be easily created between two parties, and they remain anonymous. And they, this contract is stored on a public ledger. All right, so we have a blockchain history, which is also very interesting. Actually, blockchain became popular right now, like starting from 2020, 2019, but it actually is, invented long ago. And many people were actually interested in this form of, transaction because it's, it was invented like maybe in 1962 or many other areas. Like, so it's really hard. It's really hard, but because it's an open network, many people started to work and to develop it. So in 1976, an asymmetric cryptography key invented. In 1991, a cryptographically secure chain of blockchain, as described for the first time by Stuart Haber and Scott Stornetta. So we have sorry, someone is. Okay, when we come back to the blockchain industry, we can see that in 2018, developers working under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto released a model for a blockchain, and it was an open network so that any software developer, anyone can make some changes and add some valuable changes to this form of transaction. So basically in 2014, blockchain technology is separated from the currency and its potential for other financial interorganizational transactions is explored. And then blockchain 2 is born, referring to applications beyond currency. Okay. So remarkable benefits of blockchain technologies I have mentioned before, it's highly secure, it's a decentralized system, there is no authority, it's a faster settlement and automation capability. So for example, when you use a bank to make a transaction, it takes a lot of time in order to verify your identity, right? In a blockchain, it's quite different. And so it's going to be verified in 3 or 9 seconds. So it's going to be very fast. All right. So application of blockchain technology. So it's not just, we know most of the times about cryptocurrency, but blockchain is actually adopted or used in many other areas. So I guess time is limited, but I will talk a little bit about them as well. So for example, we can look about the public sector, which is the government, public records, public transportation, and law enforcement. So some US states are actually taking it upon themselves to realize the benefits of blockchain, such as the Delaware Blockchain Initiative, which basically increases efficiency and speed of incorporation services. And also employing blockchain technology could help cities better understand how their residents are utilizing public transportation options. And also it can be used in police investigations, maintaining the integrity of the chain of evidence in order to leverage for flagging certain kinds of transaction patterns, giving police a heads up when an individual engages in some kind of bad activities. And we also have education and information services, human resources, education academy. We have libraries. Everything can be automated. It's going to be very fast. It's really much easier to identify the person and something like that. And also we can state about San Jose State University School of Information received like $100,000 of grants from the Institute of Museum with a Bitcoin. So it worth a lot more right now. So yeah, and for libraries, I can see that they can expand their services by building an enhanced metadata archive and developing protocol for supporting community-based collections and facilitating more effective management of digital rights. So there are basically lots of uses of blockchain. It's not just a cryptocurrency. And it can also be used in healthcare, such as research and clinical trials and pharma and health information exchanges. So, so how blockchain can help the economy? Basically, at a sector level, like the biggest beneficiaries look set to be the public administration, many other areas, and across all the continents, those areas that have hugely developed public sector and who actually interested in it beforehand, benefited more. So blockchain's economic impact around the world. So across all continents, Asia will likely to see the most economic benefits from blockchain technology. So in terms of individual countries, a blockchain could have the highest potential net benefit. So in the past, it was like China, which is like $440 billion. So the USA, which is $407 billion. And 5 other countries like Germany, Japan, and UK, and India, and France are also estimated to have the net benefits over like $50 billion. All right, so tracking the products transfer, it's going to be the biggest use of blockchain industry across all the continents, including the public sector. So here's the resources that I used. I'll probably also be I'm sending it to you. Okay, so thank you very much again. So maybe in the next talk, I'll talk about cryptocurrency more. And also I want to share an opportunity for you. So if we have like software developers here, our company is looking for software developers intern and also social media marketing intern. I'll share my KakaoTalk ID here. So if you're interested, you can share your resume to me and I'll share it to the leader of our team so that you can get a job. So I will refer you and yeah, you'll get a job in the blockchain industry. Yeah, so thank you very much. Sorry, it took a lot of time, I guess, but I think that it's how to.
Thank you, Estelle. That was so informative.
Oh, thank you very much.
We really liked it. Thank you very much. It was so informative and we were able to know a lot of stuff about cryptocurrency. Thank you very much. So let me introduce the next speaker. The next speaker is Ayolam. So good luck, Ayolam, on your speech.
Thank you. Can I please check on the sound? Can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. I'm going to share the screen to show the presentation with you. Okay. So can you see the presentation?
Yes, and the sound is good.
Okay, thank you. So hello everyone, my name is Ayolam Chinarieva and I'm a sophomore student of Department of Global Studies at Busan National University. Nice to meet you all. I'm going to talk about the importance of raising awareness about mental health issues today. Here is my nick on Instagram, so you can follow me there. I'll follow you back. Let's join. So 800,000. What do you think is this number? It's definitely not the amount of coffee I drank, and it's not the number of hours we have throughout our lives, and it's not how nervous I am right now, though I'm nervous, but it's not the amount that I'm nervous. It's not the level. Actually, this is the number of people who commit suicide every year. And 264 million is the number of people of all ages who battle depression all over the world. This is an official statistics given by the World Health Organization. Here are some key facts about the depression. It's a common mental disorder, as you may know, and it's also a leading cause of disability worldwide, and it's a major contributor to the overall global burden of disease. More women are affected by depression than men, and it can lead to suicide, obviously. There are some effective psychological and pharmacological treatments for moderate and severe depression. Moderate and severe are the levels of depression, so basically you might be less depressed than some people are. If those numbers weren't enough for you, then here are some key facts about the suicide also provided by the World Health Organization. So for every suicide, there are many more people who attempt it. So basically, every depressed person might have attempted a suicide, which led to him or her being disabled. Also, it's the third leading cause of death between 15 to 19-year-olds. And 79% of global suicides occur in low and middle income countries, which is kind of sad. I don't even know how to say that, but yeah, money can lead to shortage of money can lead to depression and then to suicide. Ingestion of pesticide, hanging, and firearms are among the most common methods of suicide globally. So you can actually prevent the suicide even in your house through getting rid of pesticides and firearms and etc. So the reason why I chose this topic is not only because it's like super important because of the statistics. Actually, the mental health issues are closer to each and every one of us than we think it is. My own grandfather passed away 2 years ago because of substance abuse, which was caused by his long-lasting severe depression. And even my own younger sister is battling the manic disorder. You might know it as a bipolar disorder. She has been suffering from panic attacks for a long time. So actually, even the closest people to you, people you care and love, care about and love, they can be battling with some mental health issues that they are not telling you about, probably because you're not aware of them. So that is why it's important to raise awareness among all of us. Especially at the time of COVID-19 pandemic, as the World Health Organization stated, it's really important to be aware and take care of your mental health right now. And it's providing some special guidance and assistance for health workers and managers at health facilities and others to take care and look after their mental health. So actually, your mental health can be caused by anything like a stress level or the anxiety or some bad news that you might face as well. And even during the midterms and final exams, students stress like too much. That is why I prepared here 16 ways to stress less during the exams for you. I think that it's really important for you to take care of yourself first, and then your good state of mental health will affect to the people you love and care about. So the first thing to do is exercising. Actually, your body knows about you and your mental state more than you do, because sometimes the shortage of some vitamins, shortage of some different hormones in your body might also affect your mental state. That is why walking, exercising, taking supplements like vitamins and even green tea can help you a lot to release the stress and relieve anxiety. So we're also like, we haven't lost our animal roots. I think that is why we also react to the pleasant scents. That is why lighting a scent candle might be also a good thing to do. Reduce caffeine, and by caffeine, I don't only mean the coffee, but black tea also contains more caffeine than regular coffee does. So if you have something that you're worrying about, just write it down and burn that paper, because that should go away. Also, chewing gum, spending time with friends and family or alone might be helpful for you. Having a company around is not a bad thing, actually. That is why surround yourself with the people who care about you. Laughing, it's a best thing, best stress reliever, I can tell. I recommend this by myself because I usually do that. Just turn on some comedy or a stand-up show, comedy show, and just laugh everything out loud. Learn to say no. Avoid procrastination. That's actually important, because when you procrastinate and when you have nothing to do, when you're, for example, laying in your bed and letting thoughts run through your head, they might lead you to some depressive hole. That is why avoid procrastination. Just surround yourself with the people you love. So try yoga and meditation, listening to music, deep breathing, reading a book, cuddling, and spending time with your pet can also help you relieve stress and just look after your mental health. Also, here are some steps to raise awareness about mental health in your community, your society, or just in your small group with your friends. You might talk to everyone you know. This is the simplest thing that you could do. Just talk to someone you care about. Probably they're battling some kind of depression that they cannot talk to anyone about. And if you could listen to them, you might help them and support them with this. You can open up about your experience. If you have some time battled the depression, or if you attempted committing a suicide, just talk about it and get a support from your family and friends. Encourage kind language, be polite. That's best thing we can do. And educate yourself about mental illness. This is something that I really recommend. You can actually share that on social media as well, because only by yourself, starting from yourself, you can raise the awareness about the mental health. You can also coordinate a mental health screening event through some organizations. For example, these two organizations offer some instructions to those who want to coordinate the screening event. You can volunteer, because volunteering is sharing love, and surely encourage physical health that supports mental health. As I mentioned before, I also visited a psychologist 3 years ago, and she told me, before I came to her to screen my mental health, she told me that I should screen my physical health, because there might be some vitamins that you are not getting enough, which can be affecting your general state of mind. So please make sure that you're doing sports, eating well, sleeping well, and just taking care of yourself. So the last thing that I wanted to say is I want to congratulate you all, because May is an official month of mental health. So I hope that you will use the rest of this month to raise awareness, to write on social media about mental health, about your experience, or just talk to your friends and family about the struggles that they're facing. And thank you very much for your attention, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ayom. It was a really interesting speech, and I think a lot of people could gain really productive information from that. Thank you very much.
So let's play another game together, and as we are all here. So the game is I'm going to name one letter, and you should write in the chat one animal and one country and one food starting from this letter. And who's faster and who's right, he's going to be a winner. So let's start. So everyone got the rules of the game? Okay. So I'm going to name a letter. You're going to guess animal, country, and food, starting from this letter. So let's go. The first letter is P. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have an answer from Jolene, Panda, Pakistan, and Tasta. And she's our first winner. And we have also pig, Poland, and pizza. That's right. Thank you. So another letter is M. Let's go. Oh, we have answer from Professor Charles Lego. Monday, Mexico, and milk. Is it food? Can we accept this as food? Yes. Yes, sure. Because we drink it in the mornings. Yes, it is food. Oh. More answers? Anyone else? Oh. From Professor Hennessy. It's battle of professors. Macau, Mozambique, and Mozzarella. Right. Thank you. And let's go with another letter. C. Oh, we have for P. Okay, thank you. Pig, Peru, and pizza. Another letter is C. Let's see. Cat, China, and chicken. Thank you. Chicken. Is it animal? Yeah, right. We can eat chicken. Yes, it is good. We can accept it. Cat, Canada, and cupcake. Oh, thank you. Yes,
Cheers.
Cat, Costa Rica, and pig. Thank you, Sultan. Okay, thank you for everyone for participating, and let's carry on with our presentations, like with our speeches. We have last speaker, and it's going to be Gauhar.
Are you ready? Yes. She has technical problems.
Okay.
Or do you
Is it her? Yes. Which ones?
She said that she has technical problems and I will rejoin now.
Okay.
Everyone can hear us, right?
Right.
Yes.
So let's have another letter.
Yes.
I think you like this game. So the letter is going to be G. Oh, we have for D, but it was G. Thank you. Okay, it's also A, like data, data, Denver. Rock, Greenland, and Granada. Oh, Gouda. Does anyone knows what's Gouda? Is it good?
This is my first time to hear it.
So unfortunately, Gauhar had
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna start my presentation. So, hello everybody, my name is Gauhar Abdullaeva. I'm a student of PNU University in Department of Global Studies. So today I want to give you a speech about to learn and to give your best in everything you do. So there are few elements here. The first is that you should always work hard and give your best. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you always give your best, you will get much better results than if you don't. Because there are in many cases that we struggle in life and we think it is a struggle and obstacle that we cannot go through from this. But we sometimes forget that there is no pain and no gain. Giving 100% in everything you do always leads you to greater things in life. The workers who go above and beyond in this life world are almost always rewarded with better positions or pay rises. Those who train harder, study harder, and give more of themselves will always get more out of their life than those who take it easy. And that's just common sense. So what I'm trying to say is give your best, give everything. You have to get your best possible result. If it doesn't work out, at least you will have the pride of knowing you gave it to your best shot. At worst, you will also have learned as much as you can along the way. And those who are committed to learn more in life will almost always be the same people who earn more and become more. Then the second thing I have to say is I am, you are, and all we are too young, far too young to stress out. Leave that crap for later in life when you have kids and bills to pay. For now, just do your best, work hard, and see what happens. Your past will reveal itself in time. When you really know what you want to do with your life, when you find something you must do, that is when you must log in and say, this is it. So if we look back into our life, we are studying in Busan National University, one of the most well-regarded university is in Korea, and it is the first the thing we need to reward ourselves. And the second thing is we are studying in abroad, which makes it a bit more harder to kind of not to give up in life. But if we look up, we are doing really best in life. Your past will reveal itself in time, and is it when you tell yourself, I am all in. One failed test doesn't mean that it's an unbearable obstacle in the real world. Do you know how many successful people fail tests in school? Every one of them. It's normal. But guess what? The successful people didn't give up. And that's the key. They kept working on becoming better themselves, better in everything they do. When you get out on the field of life, no one wants the guy who passed every test. They want the guy who was willing to fight for his dreams, the one who had the character to fight back after failing. That guy is much more valuable in the real world than someone with book knowledge. So work on yourself, work on your education. Yes, but work on yourself just as much. There is no success without struggle. Build some mental health. It is much more important than passing a test. You cannot win in life if you are losing in your mind. If your mind is strong, then your life will be strong. So thank you guys for your attention. It was my speech for you and the advices.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, it's already, the meeting event had already come to the end. So we would like to say thank you very much for each of you for coming today. And I hope that you had a great time. I would like to express my endless gratitude to the speakers, Professor Hennessy, Jolene, Asel, Ayolum, and Gapharoy for making and giving such interesting, helpful, and amazing speeches and presentations today. Also, the team members here, Giyong, Ahmadjan, and Alpusada, I'm so thankful for you because TED Club members, we organized this event together, and even though there were hardships, we didn't give up, and I'm really proud of our team team job. So in general, thank you very much for attending. And at the end, we would send the certificates to the speakers and small gifts to the speakers as well.
Yeah. So here also, we would like to know the feedback from our audience and from our speakers. Now I'm sending them the link. So could you share? Could you share your ideas and opinions about this event? And I hope we will see each other again in offline. Maybe I hope so. And also, we prepared the certificates. A second. So we can just show that we prepared them.
So it's our first event the Tedx, it's already 6 months. We joined it and worked together, and it's our first event, and we hope we'll see more of this, more events like this. So here's our certificates to our speakers. Thank you very much, our speakers.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you to everyone who listened today. It was a good experience.
We are really thankful for each of the person who came to the TED event, the speakers, audience, and members, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for organizing this event. I really had fun.
Goodbye to everyone. I hope everyone has a good day.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming to our event.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Hope we can meet next time in real life. Yeah. Bye. Bye.